Or what's the one where it's not Shrek? Where they
Hoodwinked?
No. Where they're like, "Hey, now you're an all-star."
There's another movie with
that song
soundtrack.
in it. Yeah. And it's they go into like a house, a haunted house, or a house at the end of it. Maybe they're all superheroes of sorts.
Wow.
Maybe they're all misfits. I don't really know.
I love those superhero haunted house crossover animated films that
It's
are like
not
Shrek.
animated.
It's not animated?
No, it's a
How
live
is it like
action.
Shrek? Hello and welcome to Hardly Working, or is it hardly working through it? What a day. But regardless of the show, what a week. Regardless of anything. This is a show about life, love, and labor, hosted by the couple that works, plays, and stays together. I'm SP.
And I'm Kellie.
And you guys will not believe the week we've had. As seen by Kellie twirling trash in the air because it has been a trash week.
Yeah, today or tonight is another home show because I didn't feel like I could do this show at the studio.
Too emotional.
But today we're going to talk about our experience last week.
Are you okay?
No.
We're
I'm
just
not.
starting. We're going to get through it.
We're going to talk about our experience last week and hopefully not give you fear of flying anxiety.
Or me, because I'm on a plane
Uber
in a
anxiety.
couple hours. Or just general
Just
anxiety.
general anxiety.
I think a lot of people found the show because I helped with their anxiety.
This is your turn to help us with ours, not
Oh my
you,
gosh.
but the people.
Yeah, we're about to unload our legit anxiety.
Should've gotten a tissue.
I was gonna say maybe I'll get
tissue
you.
box.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Are we pausing here? Guys, this week, while I think it ultimately ended well, definitely started out really crappy. And let's just like set the stage. Thank you. That was so kind for the tissues. Let's just set the stage a little bit, okay? SP
That's me.
has a gig in Montreal. That's in Canada, if you didn't know. It's in a different country.
Tell him, babe.
On the East Coast.
Oh yeah.
It's
very
not
far
like
away.
Vancouver, which is just up here. It's even further than Toronto. Let's just be clear.
Toronto.
Okay?
It's very far. It was like 6.5 hours or something. That's by flight. Plane flight.
So he's going to go do like a 16-hour event that he can't talk. None of us can talk about really any of these events and what we did because we
But
both
it's okay.
signed NDAs.
Yeah, but it's okay because there's enough story
I don't know
outside
that you
of
signed
it.
an NDA actually, but I did.
I was supposed to, and I'm going to honor that.
I haven't. I mean, I've read mine. I don't remember it. It's been a whirlwind. I think
Yeah.
I can talk about it after the fact, but I'm not gonna. So I don't know, just in case. Who knows?
What a week. So I'm
But
flying
he
to
was in-
Montreal.
He's going to Montreal, and I am flying. Will be flying to DC, and we will literally be missing each other.
I left
at the
Friday, worked Saturday,
Coming home
come
Sun-
home Sunday.
And I'm leaving Sunday. I'm going to be in DC for a week. And all of this is happening during one of the worst winters that is being experienced on the East Coast with a
Yeah.
really bad storm that's coming in that I don't think either of us knew about.
No,
because
you know why?
we were just grateful for rain in California.
It was probably the equivalent of people during the LA fires being like,
Yeah.
I have a Disneyland trip scheduled. Should I still go? Like, you just don't really
just don't
know
know.
because it's so far away. We had no idea that we were about to be neck deep in Snowmageddon.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want me to go first? Am I telling my story first? Because mine happened first.
I thought we were
technically.
going chronological, but I'll be
I mean, no.
honest too. I'm having a difficult time reading just how well you're feeling.
I'm feeling okay. Let's go. We'll talk about it. Listen, my story comes first because I flew first. I drove my car to the
That's true.
airport to leave
Yep.
it at the airport because the plan was I'm leaving Sunday at like 6. My flight's at 8 a.m. And SP's supposed to arrive at like 9 p.m. Or something like that. And I was like, well, we'll just park the car, leave it at LAX because that way both of us get to drive. None of us have to Uber.
Yeah, we'll
no
just
one has
swap.
to come and pick us up. And it's great. And it's so lovely to have your own car.
Yeah, we
How
can pay
great
for
is
one
that?
day at LAX.
It's
Who
cool.
cares?
I need to paint this picture and say I am fly. We fly a lot. This trip is my first flight of the year, this year. And it is to DCA, where only a few weeks prior,
Yeah, there's the
there was the DCA plane crash where all 84 persons on board lost their lives in the Potomac.
Yep. So that's where you were going.
So
flying
I
into.
was feeling pretty anxious. I have a lot of anxiety just in general about that, which kind of sets the tone for my trip. Yeah. You can like help me along if I know I'm kind of pausing because I'm kind of trying to remember it. But anyway, it all works out. I get to LAX with enough time to go to the Delta Lounge. Okay, I know it's a little bit bougie, but we're business owners and we have business platinum cards. So one of the perks is that we get into the Delta Lounge.
That's right.
It's one of my favorite things in the airport because it's free breakfast and you get
it.
to fill up your water bottle. It's amazing.
That's
all
my
for free.
favorite part. Yeah, free water.
What turns into like a $35 like adventure at the airport before you even begin becomes free.
Because Kellie has to travel
I
with
like
a couple
water.
smart
I
waters.
have to have a water
She
because
just
you
needs to stay hydrated.
You never know. But I love Aaron Parnas. Is that his name?
Yeah,
Parnas.
sure. I don't know.
He's great. I needed him as far away from my TikTok channel as possible that morning. Because as I was eating my breakfast, you were doing your own thing because you were in freaking Canada. And I was like, well, I'm going to like scroll on TikTok. And the very first TikTok video that comes up is Aaron Parnas talking about a plane crash that occurred. And both people in the plane died. Small plane, not a commercial plane. Both people died. And I was like, I already have so much anxiety flying to DCA. I like can't do this right now. I get on my flight. I'm lucky. There's an open seat in the middle. I overhear the flight attendant who keeps talking to the row right in front of me. She just came back from a week of vacation and is excited to be back, but also missing being on vacation. But has said, man, I fly this path to DC all of the time. This flight's normally booked, but like we're not even half full today. I'm like, that's a bad sign. That means people are not flying to DC.
Yeah. Let me just interject because I don't think I said this. This is literally all we're going to talk about on this episode.
Oh yeah. We're just talking
so
about our experiences. It's kind of our own therapy session.
It's not just that. It is that horrible and that many horrendous things happen that it's going to take the whole episode for you to hear the whole story. So if you're like, they didn't even do stories or unpopular, what happened today?
We are the story. This is our unpopular opinion.
Yeah, so apologies for interrupting. So the woman was like, it's usually booked. And you're like, that's a bad sign.
Yeah, because not people, because I'm sitting in Comfort Plus.
Yeah.
Where you can get like, if you're a medallion member, you can get upgraded if you're like, didn't get a seat there. And like there are a ton. The lady across from me sits at the window and she's got 2 seats open next to her. Mm-hmm. I'm sitting next to this big man, but there's no one in the middle seat. So it's kind of nice because they had a lot of space.
Yeah.
But it was a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Flight's pretty good for the most part until we start getting closer to DC. And then the gentleman next to me kind of puts his window up and I'm like, man, it looks really dark out there as we're starting to experience like slight turbulence at this point. I was like, okay, like, you know, we're in a storm, slight turbulence. That makes sense. And then like 10 minutes later, when I say I fly a lot now, I have flown a lot. And turbulence used to scare the crap out of me. And now it doesn't so much. It happens every now and then. Turbulence starts getting really bad. I explained it to you as like being on a roller coaster and like the drops and kind of that like feeling. We're like supposed to be landing at this point.
Yeah.
But we're still in the sky. Yeah. And they've made the announcement that like flight attendants are not going to be serving in the cabin. Right, no one can get up.
Yeah.
Somebody got up to use the bathroom at some point and they like yelled at this person over the speakers as this person is like trying to not fall as they go back. They had to go to the bathroom. So they try not to fall going back to their seat. When I say worst turbulence I've experienced ever, I mean worst turbulence. And I find out later that we've just been circling DCA for 30 minutes. Just been circling, trying to land.
Yep.
Only to find out that we can't land.
Even though you just put yourself through all this.
And we put ourselves through all this stuff. I'm having a pretty difficult time because turbulence is pretty bad. You can tell that people are scared. The guy next to me is like really scared.
Yeah.
And when you open up the window, all you see is like gray clouds.
So it's about time for me to jump in with my part of the story.
Sure.
At this point, I'm at the airport. Mm-hmm. And Kellie texts me.
Am I texting you? Yeah, I am.
She said, I'm going to land in 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
And just to sprinkle in part of my journey, at this point, I have driven what was supposed to be 90 minutes, but was 3 hours in a whiteout snowstorm where you could not see the lines on the roads at all, the cars in front of you. Our windshield wipers froze to the front of our windshield. We had to stop and pull them off. Our windshield was so covered in ice that it was literally ka-gung, 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 loud because you had to keep the windshield wipers going, but it was banging for 3 hours trying to get to the airport. I finally make it there. I get a little croissant from Starbucks. I'm texting Kellie. My temp crown on my back molar breaks in half. I'm like, well, now my molar is gone in Canada. This is a bad sign.
Curse you, croissant.
Curse you, soft pastry. You've betrayed me. But I'm sitting waiting to get on my flight. And I'm like, it's been a while since Kellie texted me. And I look and it's like, it's been an hour. And I was like, this seems weird, but I'm not freaked out.
Maybe we were circling for a lot longer than a half hour.
Yeah, whatever it was like, I was trying to text Kellie, but it wasn't saying delivered or read or anything. And then I make the mistake of Googling stupid stuff. First, I literally just typed LAX to DC. Like, because they would know flights. And then, of course, it's like plane crash at DC airport. It's like, oh, my God. But it was the one that happened a couple weeks ago. And then I was like, Delta news. Don't do that either. Mm-mm. It's all bad. Yeah. So I'm starting to freak out a little bit and be like, how am I going to tell Brooklyn that Kellie's gone? And I don't even know that Kellie's having the experience that she has.
No.
And so I'm just sitting in the airport starting to think something might be wrong. And that's where Kellie picks up her story again.
Yeah. I don't think I told you this, but I texted... Sorry.
It's okay, babe.
I texted my parents and told them that I love them. I think I texted you that too. And I considered texting Brooklyn and told myself, you tell her how much I love her. But I was really scared. Oh, that probably stuck to my face.
What you can't see is Kellie put on a face mask. And now the tears are making it peel.
It's okay.
It's a very sad, beautiful picture.
It's okay.
I
was really scared.
Yeah. I know you were. My heart just breaks for that moment.
It was really scary.
Yeah.
But we were up in the air for a long time. And then they finally said that we're being diverted to a different... No, they said, so we can't land at DCA. It's not safe. It's like 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts that are happening on the ground.
Which is what you're experiencing.
And so, so it's not safe. And so we can't land. And we're trying to figure out where we can land. So we'll be back shortly. Please stay in your seats because turbulence is bad. Yeah. Basically. They didn't say it like that, but that's basically what they said.
Like, don't get up.
Yeah. This is when the lady got up, by the way, at this point. So yeah, it was like really scary and really bad. And then now I have the thought in my head of like, I hope we have enough gasoline. Yeah, I hope there's enough fuel in this thing that we're because like we're getting to the ground one way or another, whether we like it or not.
Oh my God, babe.
But eventually they say they're diverting us to Richmond, Virginia. So we have to go. I feel like we were lower in the sky. Like I think they had, like, you know what I mean? Circling lower to get ready to land, which is probably why your text messages weren't coming through because the Wi-Fi probably wasn't available.
Yeah.
We have to now go back up into this stuff. And so we do. It's really bad. Like people at this point, truly, people are like throwing up on the plane.
Insane.
Like loudly throwing up and having a really difficult time. The guy next to me, who's like this big guy, like you can just tell that he's terrified. And I am just trying to get lost in a TV show to try to be like, okay, like let me just get lost in something, which I don't think I told you. I had stopped. I was like, we're going to land here soon. That's okay. Like I can stop. I'm not going to start another episode because we'll be on the ground soon. I was watching High Potential.
You were going to die watching High Potential?
That's right.
Babe.
Better than Bones.
No, at least that'd be true to brand. You barely even know High Potential.
I was enjoying it. It was good. So I'm trying to get lost in that. And as we get closer and closer to Richmond, I mean, it's still bad, guys. It's still like very turbulent, very bad. And I just remember when they finally went to land, I can only describe it as like the fastest landing I've ever had. And if anyone that flies, like normally it's like you're descending, but like it's a good trajectory. You know, like you're like, yeah, we're descending, but it's not too fast. This felt like a nosedive of trying to get to land. And this is when I think people really started having a hard time.
Yeah.
Including myself, who was just trying to hold it together. Because I was like, don't freaking cry on this plane. Like you're okay. Stay strong.
Yeah.
And we finally land.
And I'm sure they did try to have to go faster because of
the wind gust, which I think is what I had said to you too. I was like, that would make sense to me, so we don't get blown away or to the side, that we land on the the
landing at all, I guess.
The landing strip. But landing on the landing strip is probably important too.
Yeah, sure.
So we do that. I have been on many planes and never heard people clap when we land, and everyone clapped when we landed.
Thank God we're on the ground.
What I didn't know and realize is that when you get diverted somewhere, they're still trying to get you to the location that you're supposed to go to.
Right. They're not just like, get off.
Yeah. And so here I am on this plane now. All of us have had this experience. People have thrown up, are still continuing to throw up. So much so that the flight attendants walked around with more air bags, like barf bags.
Airbags. They're like, pow!
No, more barf bags. And they also started walking around with ginger ale and Sprite to give to anyone that had been sick.
Those poor flight attendants. They're going through the same thing everyone is, but I guess they're more experienced.
Yeah. And then to top it off, well, a couple things. There was a couple that was taken off the plane quite quickly due to some medical issues occurred during the flight.
Was that before everything, or because they're like having a heart attack?
Because of everything. I don't know if they're having a heart attack. I have no idea. But this was like right when we landed at Richmond. We got to a gate. We parked at a gate to get out of the way, and they were escorted off. That flight attendant I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, the vacation one.
Came back and was talking to the two girls in front of me, and they were kind of talking, and basically she said like, I've been through something along the lines of like, I've been through rough air before. Like I'm trying to rate this on a scale. This was the worst I've ever experienced. And so now I know like, like this was bad. Yeah. Like a bad, like I'm not crazy. This was bad. Yeah. Also, I'm like not where I'm supposed to be.
You're not even
and
close.
I've never been to DC, and I don't really know.
You've never been to Richmond.
I don't know where Richmond is in terms of like where I need to go, and so I'm trying to start to figure that out. I'm going out there for work, so you can't just like. I mean, I would have done whatever it would have taken to get there, but there's also a certain protocol you go through. But I'm also learning. They're like, okay, like, you know, we're still trying to figure out what's going to happen if we can get to DCA today, and so if you would like to get off the plane, you can. At your own risk.
Is that what they said? Or
yeah, it was kind of like, essentially, like, you can get off the plane, but then, like, you're on your own. There's nothing we can do.
That's where your flight ends.
Yeah, your flight ends. And you may or may not get your bags. Like, this is you can get off if you want to.
Wow, that's crazy, though.
And so I'm like, well, I'm not going to get off. And it's occurring in my head now that, if there's an opportunity for them to land at DCA, we may be going back up into the air. And so now I'm kind of also trying to freak out. I think I'm texting you at this point.
Yeah, you are.
Trying to be like, do I get off? What do I do? I don't know.
And you're not, it's not like you're downplaying it, but it's also just text. So when you just text me a sentence that says, I'm not kidding when I say that may have been the worst turbulence of my life. I don't know if that was like, it's the worst turbulence of my life, or it's the worst turbulence of my life.
Yeah.
Like I'm feeling like something's wrong, but I'm more grateful that you're alive.
That I'm alive.
Because I'm already building my story over there.
Yeah. Eventually, within like 5 minutes of making that announcement, they say, no, this is the final destination. We apologize. Everyone needs to get off here. And we learn that the pilots aren't going to be flying anymore today. Like they're done.
No doubt.
And I think it was because of how bad it was. And so now I'm getting off this flight trying to figure out like, okay, I now know that I'm like 2 hours from where I need to be. Rental car isn't necessarily an option because all the rental car lines are really long. Like everyone gets into a rental car line right away. And I'm like, well, I'm one person. Like I got to get approval. I can't just stand in a line. What about my bag? Like all the things. I'm like, well, let me just get my bag and I'll go from there. I've looked up an Uber. I've already seen what it's going to be. I've texted my contact, blah, blah, blah. I get the okay to do that. But I think what happened was I've now texted my mom and my dad too, because you are now sitting on a plane.
Yeah,
and have been sitting on a plane.
I'm kind of right there, yeah.
Yeah, for quite a bit. So I can't just call you, the person that I'd like to call. So
Right.
instead I call my mom.
Yeah, I'm glad you did that.
And I am like holding back tears.
Yeah.
Because I was so scared. And I was alone. And I was flying to somewhere where like I don't really know anybody. It wasn't like people I've worked with a ton. It's like a new group of people.
Yeah.
And I'm still 2 hours from where I need to be. And I'm trying to figure this out.
It's like getting dropped off in San Diego and your gig's in LA.
Yeah. And I'm also like, man, like I have to take an Uber, which is great. But also like, I don't think I can talk to somebody
right now
for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I'm like in the airport trying to not like cry in front of all these people as I'm like very scared.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm on the ground, so I'm really grateful that I'm alive.
But you're alone.
But it was a weird thing. And I know that people might be like, oh, you're just being over dramatic. Like, I get that. But as someone who flies, like I said, a lot and has experienced turbulence, this truly was like a very, very, very scary experience. And I really, really thought at some point in time, I was like, I may not make this. Like, this may be the end.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to feel and to think. Mm-hmm. And high potential was what I was going down with, babe.
Yeah, you were.
But I was really scared.
I'm so sorry, babe.
It's okay. And I knew that the week I had in store was going to be a tough one.
Yeah, it's a brutal way to start that week.
And it was such a weird experience to be like, okay, well, you just got to like pick yourself up by your bootstraps and keep going and like figure it out. Cause like you don't get to break down or anything like that until later. I don't know that I told you this, but we talked, I think later that night. You were having your own stuff, which we'll get into soon. But before we went, I remember getting into bed that night and I just broke down and was crying.
Yeah.
Cause I was like, it was just so much. It was just a lot. And I'm really grateful that my flight home was fine.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful that my next flight out is with you.
Yeah, whatever that is. A couple weeks for you. I leave tomorrow, however, by myself.
Yeah, well, you're not going to fly into the worst storm, apparently, that they've seen in a long time.
I'm flying into Denver, though.
Yeah, the Rocky Mountains are always a little turbulent-y, but not. It won't be like this.
I'm so sad for you. And
it's okay. I survived.
You did, of course.
And I'm okay.
Yeah, but
what a crazy experience.
What a terrible flight and a terrible way to start just a week of relentless, like, I don't know, 18-hour days and stuff.
Yeah. It was terrible.
I'm so sorry. And I wasn't even really available, and nor did I have the full understanding of how you were doing.
Yeah, I think we were just trying to be there for each other, and I was really grateful. It sucked because we each had truly just terrible experiences.
Yeah, we're about to get into the second half of that. But you really, I mean, you're right. We were there for each other in the ways that we could.
Yeah. I don't think yeah, for sure. And I will say, like, Brian, who was my contact, the guy that hired me, was very kind and, like, really was like, man, I'm so sorry. Like, are you okay? Like,
yeah, he's a good dude.
He's a good dude. But then I don't think I told you this, on the team that was there. We're kind of a mishmash group of people working. We're working an event. There's a girl named Cheryl, who's also known as Dr. Renee, because she's a psychotherapist. And she works specifically with women and dealing with their trauma.
Oh, geez. She's like, did you fly in last night?
she had heard about it because she's like, well, it was like her, Sontag, and Cheryl and Brian that are like the three kind of running it. And I will say, I was probably much needed, but like when she saw me, I had talked to her over email a few times. But she did give me just like the biggest hug and was like, are you okay? Like, I heard about your flight. Are you okay? And that was like a nice little kind of touch point to have for me. And then we like talked a lot and hung a lot throughout the week, as much as we could, until we like had to split up at some point in time because we had different jobs. But I was really grateful because I realized, I was like, yeah, I'm not really going to have like human interaction in terms of like physical connection, physical interaction, like hugs and stuff like that for like a whole week, because I don't know anybody here.
Yeah. And we're very touchy. Like, we're always kind of like next to each other.
Yeah. So I was really grateful for that, because that was really kind. And we'll get to your story.
Yeah, next week.
But my parents checked in on me a lot.
Yeah.
And that like was really meaningful to me, because I really was having a tough time.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to hold it together.
I mean,
to do this job, that was
yeah.
just a lot too.
Yeah, I can't believe you managed it. You're so strong.
So tell people you love them before you get on the flight, everybody. Don't fly to the East Coast during a storm.
We're not doing that again. And I'll tell you what I'm not doing ever again. Flying to Montreal in the winter ever. Storm or no storm.
So anyway, there's where my story is. And you and I are now kind of texting. And I'm also not trying to freak you out. So I'm trying to be authentically who I am. But I also am realizing that, like, you have your own crap going on.
Yeah.
At the same time. I'm also trying to not cry in an Uber as I'm texting you. Yeah. And I think that's where you pick up your story.
Alrighty. Thanks for sharing all that, Cal.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I hope it gives you some peace because that is a stressful story.
Yeah.
But it's Oreo time, baby. You earned it.
Oreo.
Yeah, so good that we bought them at Target again, baby. You know it's a home show because we're having dessert, though. And I've got to somehow transition into talking about what was like the worst day I've had in a long time.
I'm now off the flight. I can't call you because you're on a flight. But are you flying?
Yes. So I've been on a flight for a while, of course. We braved the snow.
Are you flying?
No, we weren't flying. Or however a person
you were
would say
flying,
that.
but you just said I've been on a flight for a while. Yeah, he's been sitting on a plane
on
the tarmac.
Hold on. I'd let you do your story.
I just want people to understand.
Yeah, it's brutal. We get there, of course, broke my tooth, of course. Literally, there's a piece of my body in a French trash can.
You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome, Quebec. Ugh.
It's the French territory, but I think it's just Canada.
They speak French. I know that. It is Canada. Anyway, so I'm now getting on the flight, and to put it into some context that we haven't talked about, at this point, it is Sunday, and I'm supposed to be home on Monday. There's some things I need to do, but Tuesday...
It's my fault.
Tuesday is an event that Kellie's company is doing, and...
that got canceled in January.
Yes, I was going to say double booked, but that's not really what happened.
It got canceled in January, and then it got rebooked for this day, and after I'd already...
committed
and signed contracts and stuff like that. Yeah.
So I am now doing the Hollywood Walk of Fame star reception for Mindy Kaling.
Yeah.
On Tuesday. Me and Steph.
Yeah.
What a rock star.
She's so great. Told you.
10 out of 10. Love her. Anyway, that's what's happening on Tuesday morning. That's a big piece of context here because it is the stress that almost put me in the ground. So with that said, I'm like, that event is a lenticular event. It's an event where the photos actually move. That's not something I've done on my own before. It's Kellie's masterminded brainchild. It's never been done without her before.
Yeah, it's true.
And it's PC-based booth, and I'm more familiar with Mac. There's all this stuff. We've never worked with the coordinator before. It's the first time. Want to make a great impression. It's a high-level Hollywood event, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, Kellie, leave it set up in the house so I can kind of toy with it when I get home. I want to make sure I can get it all right so it's all good for the next day. So that is happening. Also, our car, which may or may not have photo booth stuff, is at LAX.
Yeah.
There's the pieces.
It didn't have photo booth stuff, but
it's still the car. Those are the pieces.
So you're going
everything's
home.
going fine except my broken tooth. That's kind of in the almost dying in the snow, which I'm just skipping over, but it was bad. I'm on the flight. My flight's at 5:15. It's 4:45. Yeah, in the evening on the now blacklisted Air Canada flight, whatever. Because spoilers, this flight gets canceled, but I don't know that yet for another many, many hours. I'm sitting on there. I'm already just listening to a podcast. I'm ready to go. Things are going okay. Captain comes on. He's like, it's 30 minutes in. So now we're about to take off. Captain comes on and says, hey, it's a pretty big snowstorm. We just got a bank of snow in front of where the tow would come and push us out to the runway. So we just got to get a maintenance crew to clear that out. It'll be about 20, 30 minutes. Sorry about that. Okay, no big deal. I'm sitting next to a very, very weird couple that I could do a whole podcast on them.
But we won't give them the time of day today.
No, very, very odd. Captain gets back on the intercom, and they're like, well, they cleared it, but it turns out it's just so slick out there. There's so much snow. They need a bigger tow in order to get us out there. So be about 20 minutes. Okay, no big deal. Blah, blah, blah. Fast forward again. Here's the pattern. 20, 30 minutes, we're going to get new announcements. So I'll save you all the explanation. The next one is we have to go now to get de-iced. We have to de-ice the plane because it's frozen. It'll be about 20, 30 minutes. Great. We go do that. We're getting de-iced. All the power goes off the plane. At this point, we're probably about 2 hours delayed. All the power goes off, comes back on. I think a little bit of it. I'm like, that was odd, but you know what? That does happen sometimes. Before you take off, sometimes they like reset the stuff. Your lights come on, they go off, whatever. Nope. It was a problem. They lost power from their generator. And now whatever the equivalent of the airplane check engine light, that is on.
You don't want to fly with that.
Can't fly with that. Also, I was so in need to get home from Mindy's thing that I was like willing to fly from Montreal to LA in an airplane that just temporarily lost power.
No.
I was ready to do it. We are hours into this now. So he says maintenance has to come and manually reset these. Okay, 20, 30 minutes, whatever. Problem is we need to get to a gate so they can work on the plane. So we're just waiting for a gate. It goes another hour. We finally get to a gate. The maintenance team is working on that. It's now we got on at 4:45, and it is now about 9 o'clock at night. So we've put in just a little bit more than 4 hours of sitting on the airplane without having gone really anywhere.
Yeah.
Captain says, you're welcome to get up and stretch your legs. Obviously, if you need to get off the flight or whatever, you need to not take this flight at all, you can do that. About maybe 3 people do that. I don't know. It could have been a few more. 20 minutes later, Captain gets on.
I think had you had a carry-on bag, you may have done that. To try to
get
a different flight.
Maybe. It turns out just about every flight that night got canceled.
Uh-huh.
But the captain comes on and says, it's just been one of those days, and I hate to be the one to tell you this, but because of the snowstorm, we don't have a ground crew, and because some people decided to leave the plane and we cannot travel with their luggage, this flight has to be canceled, and we have to wait for a ground crew to come out and take all your luggage off the plane. So after 5 hours and 45 minutes of sitting on the flight, or 4 hours and 45, I don't know what the math is. It's like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Oh, it's about 10 o'clock. We're getting off the flight. We've done nothing. Nothing has happened today.
You just sat on a plane forever.
Yes, which is much better than the turbulence that you're going through.
Yes.
Or had gone through. So now I'm like, oh, this is bad, but not terrible. I just got to figure out how to rebook a flight. Air Canada texts me immediately. It's like, don't worry, we'll get you on a new flight. We'll text you in 30 minutes. That never happens.
Ever.
30 minutes later, they text again. They're like, having a hard time finding you a new flight, but don't worry, we'll text back soon. Day and a half later is the next time I heard from them. There are precisely zero Air Canada employees anywhere to be found. If you call them,
So
Kellie,
weird.
you tried calling them once or twice, didn't you?
I did, like 5 times.
That ain't happening. They are nowhere to be found, and neither is our luggage. At this point, I call Kellie or I text you or something, and I was like, hey, I know you've had the worst day ever, and I'm not asking for you to do anything. I just need you to know that my flight got canceled. I feel like I can figure it out to still get back for your gig. But I just want to let you know, here's what's happening. Kellie, being the amazing person that she is and never missing an opportunity to sacrifice her own self for someone else's needs, gets on her phone or her computer or whatever it was and starts searching up flights. And we get the go-ahead. I can't get a hold of hardly anybody on our team, and it's driving me nuts, except for Jamie, who's a rock star, and I'm so grateful
and
for
Corey
her.
and Tara, you were able to get a hold of them.
Yes, totally. But they were busy, and they absolutely would have done anything I needed to.
Yeah, but they were the ones who did ultimately give the approval. You couldn't get.
Yeah,
hold
we
of
got the
anybody-
approval. Yeah,
anybody
to book
on
new
your
flights.
team.
Because I was like, there's no Air Canada flight that's going out anymore. Air Canada canceled all their flights. But there is American Airlines, there's United, there's a few things.
Yeah.
And so I was like, Kellie's like, here's the flight. It's tomorrow morning at 7:30 in the morning. That'll get you home by I think I was
4
still.
or something like that.
No, it was still late. I had like an 8-hour
Oh,
layover.
it was a long, but it
Yeah.
was a cheaper one. It was like either a $700 flight or like $1,000+ flight.
Yeah, and I was.
And I didn't think we could get the $1,000+ flight
Approved.
approved, so I went for the cheaper one.
Yeah. So, but I was still going to get to LA at like 9 or 10 at night or something. And I still had a 3-page audition to shoot. I had to tear down the photo booth. I had to get everything ready for the next day, yada, yada, yada. So Kelly books that flight. I'm like, okay, cool. I end up waiting for my bag another 2 hours there. So it's
crazy.
midnight until our bags come out, before our bags come out.
Yeah.
After that,
I did try to call. This is what it's referring to. I tried to call anyone at the airport to be like, hey, like, when are these bags coming out? Nobody answered.
nobody. Like, we are just, it's like thousands of people stuffed in these terminals and nobody knows anything. People are like starting to yell and kind of mini riot. There's also mice that are running around, like little rats that are running around the Montreal airport, where I was like, wow, I guess if I have to sleep in this airport,
Gross.
at least I have some friends.
Ratatouille. Maybe they'll make you something good to eat.
Yeah, I hope so. I'm always willing to try. Anyway, I get my bag. It's midnight. I go out. I call for an Uber. And as you can imagine, everyone's doing that. So it's just like still searching for your driver. And then I go to the line for the taxi. It is like a football field long, but then wrapped around 3 times. And at some point, I do end up just standing in that line.
Of course, while you're waiting for an Uber.
Totally. But
one of them
so
can come.
there happens to be like a Subway in the terminal. And I was like, thank God. And I also haven't eaten anything except that croissant that broke my tooth. For the entirety of the day. I get a sandwich. I'm sitting in the airport with my phone that's been open for 1 whole hour on Uber saying, we're still looking for somebody. And then when you go to like cancel, they're like, if you cancel, you may not ever be able to have a driver tonight. We'll kill you. Whatever they say. And that almost happened too. Spoilers. Foreshadowing. But most of you probably have seen my TikTok on it already. So I'm sitting in the airport. I haven't even told you this, Kel. I'm sitting in the airport, so tired, so gross. I've got compression socks up to my knees that I've now been wearing for like 16 hours. I just feel terrible. I'm carrying all my luggage. I'm trying to get an Uber. I'm doing the math. Like, even if I do get to this hotel that I had booked, I'm only going to sleep for a few hours before getting back. And I had the audition and Kelly's gig, and I can't screw that up. I'm sitting there. And I'm like, at this point, Kelly's gone to sleep. She's been so wonderful. But I was like, you got to get some sleep, girl.
I had
You
to
got
be
a
up in the
whole
morning.
week of work. Yeah. And she was asleep. I'm sitting next to the subway, like along the escalator wall, looking at this sandwich. And I was like, who do I have in my life that I could call? Like, what could I do? I'm just so alone. And I look and I was like, it's even too late to call my mom. Like, it was almost 1 a.m. It was like 10
She's
o'clock.
probably up reading something.
Probably. But then you and I in Brooklyn have been listening to so much Paramore lately.
Is that what you started listening to? You're
To
like,
cheer
I'm
me
not
up.
alone.
And then
I
it
should
goes,
be over all
don't
the-
go crying to your
And you're just
mama when you're on your own in the real. I was like, oh my God, I am in the real world right now.
Yeah.
And I can't. I just can't.
But you did.
Here comes even worse news, y'all.
Yeah.
I finally get an Uber. I don't even know how much of the story I can possibly tell. I
can
didn't
tell it.
even realize what was happening until like it had happened. I get picked up by this dude. It's 1 a.m. now. 1 a.m. It's snowing. It is like feet of snow.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Feet of snow. Everything is covered in snow.
Snowing.
Whatever you're thinking, multiply it by 10.
Because it's snowing.
This guy starts calling me before he's there. What's the address? Send me the address to where you're going. Where are you going? He speaks mostly French and pretty much no English.
And you're like, the address is in the
Yeah, I was
Uber.
like, whatever. I'm just seriously trying to get home. I'm like, try not to have a mental breakdown. My whole body is just vibrating from everything that's happening. And now I'm like, can I get a hotel? What am I going to do? And he's like looking at me, he gets out, he opens his trunk, but he's kind of like, man, like, it's cold, it's whatever, it's 1 a.m. He get in his car, he's like, you're lucky I picked you up. All the other drivers aren't picking people up. They don't pay us enough. Uber doesn't pay us. How much did you pay for this ride? He keeps doing all this stuff. I was like, oh, this is going to be one of those rides. Super sketch.
know.
It's not my problem. Whatever Uber pays you. Like, I'm using Uber as a service.
Yeah, you're choosing to do the ride. So
Yes. So he's doing all that sketch stuff, like just the weird, uncomfortable stuff. I was like, whatever. It's like an 18-minute drive. Like, I just got to get to my hotel. And he does this thing the whole way. And then when we get a few blocks away from the hotel in this huge snowstorm, he goes, I'm ending the ride. And he goes to his phone and he ends the ride. I look at my phone and the ride disappears. It's over. He's ended it. And he says, essentially, I can't remember exactly what he said. He said, how much did you pay for this ride? You need to pay me more. You need to give me 5 stars and give me the maximum tip. I was like, yeah, dude, for sure. Okay. He's like, no, like, seriously, do it. I was like, I got you. Don't worry. Let's go. Like, let's go to the hotel. He goes, I'm just going to wait until I see it come through on my end. And he waits until I was like, now I got to get out of this car. I've got to get to the hotel. I have to do it.
What we learned later is that you're like on a bridge.
Yeah, I didn't even
That's
know
where he
that.
ended the ride was
Yeah,
on a bridge.
just on this bridge. I was like, literally, is this dude just going to kill me in Montreal?
Yes.
Is he going to drop me out to die?
All for a few dollars. You don't carry cash on you.
Of course
Joke's on
not.
him.
Yeah, well, joke's on me when I die. I don't know where he's leaving me. What if he's like, get out of the car, I'm going to kill you, and he drives off with my suitcase and all my stuff. Like, I'm literally like, I have no idea what's going to happen in this
Uber
situation.
would still find you because it tracked where the end of the ride was.
Uber might. I don't even know what 911 is in Montreal.
Yeah, that's
I didn't even know who to call. And everyone else in my whole life is asleep. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to pay this dude his money.
How much did you tip him?
I have no idea. Whatever was the maximum. It was percentages. There was no like dollar amount.
What was the maximum percent? Like 20%?
25, maybe 30. I have no idea.
Damn. Well, I hope they took that money out of his tip when they gave you your money back. Spoilers.
So the dude opens the trunk. I get my bag. He bails.
Takes him to the hotel. Doesn't just leave him on the bridge. He drives him to the hotel.
That's not true.
He doesn't take you to the hotel?
He's kind of coasting at this point, but he does not take me to the hotel. Like, I don't even know if we're getting closer or further away because I don't have it on my map anymore. I don't even know where we're going. So when I get my stuff out, I have to go find the hotel.
How far was it?
I have no idea. I don't even know what kilometers are.
Are you kidding?
That's a joke. Am I kidding about kilometers?
I thought that he took you to the hotel after that.
No.
He just left you where you were?
Yes. On the bridge thing.
Really?
Yes.
I thought he said, I won't take you. I'll take you there once you pay me more tip.
Again, it was all like mostly French.
Got it.
So I don't even know. Okay. So I get to the hotel, and at this point I'm don't even realize, like, this dude literally, I don't know what he was going to do to me. I was like, oh my God, thank God I'm out of this situation.
Yeah.
It's about 1:00 in the morning at this point. Maybe it's 1:30 in the morning. And I was like, thank God Jamie had the foresight on our team. She's like, some of these flights are getting canceled. I'm just going to book a few hotel rooms for you guys.
Which is so smart.
Yes, just in case. She's like, we can't get you any place at the airport, hotel, Hilton, whatever it was, but like about 20 minutes away. So I was like, awesome. And when my flight was going a little wacky, I text Jamie. I was like, hey, could you check into my room so they don't give it away? And she's like, totally, I got you. So she does.
Which is great.
Because when I walk in through the snow with my bag, there's like 60 or 80 people in the lobby at 1:30 in the morning, all whose flights were canceled and were sent here by Air Canada, who was not picking up the phone, not doing anything.
Yeah.
And
freaking Air Canada.
There's this huge line of people, and I was like, oh my God. It's 1:30 right now, and I have to get up at 4:30.
Was
so
it even worth it to come here?
Yeah, I was like, I only have 3 hours if I lay down right now, but I'm at the back of this line.
How did you get to the front of the line?
Yeah, because I don't think I told you this part. Thankfully, because of Jamie, who is a kindred spirit of mine now, or with me, or however you'd say it.
Yeah.
Because she booked these before the flight was canceled.
Yeah.
At one point, there's 2 poor people working the register, like, what a terrible, or like the front desk, what a terrible night for them, because they're turning people away. They're like, our best solution is you can go to this hotel that might have rooms, but they don't take reservations. You can't call and book a room. You just have to show up and see. It's about 30 minutes away. That was the solution.
That sucks.
So I'm hearing this, but the two people at the front, one just goes, if you got booked here with Air Canada, come over to this computer because it's the only one that takes those reservations and
Thanks,
can
God.
do that.
Thank God.
Anyone
Thanks, God.
else?
Thank God.
Thanks, God. Look at God.
Let me do it.
If you're not and you booked a hotel separately, stay at this one. So there was like 4 people ahead of me now.
Oh, and that's great.
I was like, hell yeah, we're getting a room. And the 2 people in front of me get denied. I was like, are you kidding? Okay, it was yes, yes, and then no, we don't have anything, no, we don't have anything. And that's how I knew the suggestions that they were making. And I was like, I know I'm not going to another hotel right now.
Yeah.
So I get to the front and I tell the guy the situation. I was like, hey, I made a reservation. I have a room. In fact, I'm checked in. I just need to get a room key. I'm already checked in and everything.
Yeah.
And I give him all my stuff and he's like, I see that you did mobile check-in, but you didn't pick up a room key. So unfortunately, we do not have a room for you. I was like,
why not?
Help me understand. I'm literally here and checked in. What's going on? You have a queen's or a king size bed. We don't have any more of those rooms, something like that. And he keeps going back and forth with me. And he's not being rude. He's just like, brother, I have to tell 100 more people what I'm telling you. Like, this is what it is. I don't know what you want me to do. He goes, this is not an ideal solution, but I do have a couch outside of the business center that you could sleep on until your flight if you want to take that. And I said, help me understand why, like, what happened? I'm checked into a room. Where's the room? And the dude goes, we don't have any more king size rooms. And if we put you in a queen size room, then we'll be giving away a reservation for someone who already has a room. And so when they get here, they won't have a room.
You're like, that's me.
I literally looked at him and I said, who are we talking about? Because the person you're describing is me. I'm the person who had a reservation and you gave it away and now doesn't have a reservation. So you're telling me that I'm going to take this away from who? From me? And he was like, let me talk to my manager. And he walks back and he comes back and he says, you're going to be here for 2.5 hours, which is all the time I had left. I was like, yes. He goes, okay, we have a room for you. And I go upstairs. I'm like,
oh my God,
absolutely shaking.
Yeah, I'm
like,
sure, because you're so tired at this point too.
Everything. Yes, so
There's
tired.
so
And
much things.
everything is going wrong. And friends, I don't know how long we've been recording, but we are not even done with some of the worst parts of my story. Kellie and I are using a shared note on our phone to kind of keep each other updated.
Because
we didn't want to wake each other up
at
and
different
stuff, and
times
blah, blah, blah.
craziness.
But like, I can't even look at that thread right now because it's just sheer panic
the
of
top
me.
of it isn't.
Yeah, but most of it is
Yeah,
me
I know.
just trying to keep Kellie updated and being like, hey, we need a plan B. I'm not going to make it home. Someone has to go to our house, figure out how to pack up the photo booth, and then go do the gig without any of us. I'm like freaking out. But right now, I'm in my hotel room.
Yep.
And I open my suitcase, go to wash my face and brush my teeth. I have about 90 minutes to sleep at this point. And I wake up. It's 4:30 in the morning. My Uber is scheduled to pick me up at 5. I used another Uber, if you can believe it.
You had to. You had no other choice. But
No
it's
other
better
choice.
because it's earlier in the morning, so it's not
Yeah.
as much sketchy people.
So 4:30, I wake up, start to brush my teeth and stuff, which seems silly after 90 minutes. But 5 minutes later, it's 4:35. Boom, 4 notifications on my phone. Your 7:30 flight has been canceled. Oh my God. If this gets canceled, I don't know when the next one is. This flight, it started at 7:30 and got me home at almost midnight, 11, whatever it was. I was like, I truly may be out of luck here. So I'm full on panicking. And it's 4 in the morning. It's 4:30 in the morning. So Kellie's asleep. I can't wake her up. Everyone in my world is asleep. Yes, but you just had the day you had, and you had 7 days of brutal hours. I wasn't about to call you.
And
So
I wish I would have told you that, like, there were tons of other flights. They're just expensive.
I was just panicking though. So thankfully Kellie booked us a refundable flight, which is just refundable in travel credit, which is obnoxious, but at least it's there, I guess.
Something. Well, but I don't.
Because we've already spent like $750 on that flight. Mm-hmm. Then I have to cancel that flight.
Well, it cancels for you. It got canceled for you.
I'm sorry. when that flight was canceled, it then is saying it's trying to rebook me,
And you're like,
or I
no.
can cancel it. So I cancel it, and then pardon me for a moment.
Get that water, baby.
All worked up.
You deserve it.
I hop on my phone. I'm still trying to like put my stuff back in my suitcase. My Uber is like minutes away. I'm trying to find another flight. I happen to find a flight that's at 7 a.m., so it's even earlier. And I think I can get there, and it would be an hour connection in New Jersey, but I'd get home at like 1 o'clock. I was like, oh boy, let's roll the dice, and I think we can do it. I get to the airport. Well, first I go to my Uber. I put my stuff in the back, and I take one step backwards, and I step in about 2.5 feet of snow.
Ugh.
And I was like, we're starting today off with wet socks. It's going to be like that. Great. It's just continuing from yesterday. Great. I have a totally fine drive, totally great Uber driver on the way there. I get there. I get checked in, all that stuff. Everything's going okay. I get to my gate. It's time to board. It's 6:30 in the morning.
You're doing it.
I'm almost there, but I'm still freaked out. Like, I'm having a panic attack throughout this whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm in the terminal writing in our notes, trying to tell Kellie, like, hey, you got to figure out some backup plan, because if this doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. I'm like full on panicked that I'm going to drop the ball for Kellie. I'm not going to make it home. The event's going to go terribly. We're going to burn the relationship with this person. Mindy is going to hate us forever. All of this stuff. I'm
Mindy
like
doesn't know us.
panicked. So it's 6:30, and they get on the intercom, and they're like, we're supposed to board right now, but unfortunately the plane's frozen, so we can't fuel it. The fuel thing is frozen shut, so we have to get a maintenance crew to de-thaw it and fuel up. I was like, what have we been doing for these last 5 hours? Like, the plane's been sitting here. What are we doing?
Uh-huh.
It gets pushed not 30 minutes, but a full hour, which is the amount of time I had for my connection. So I'm panicked again. I'm already talking to the people. They're like, I can find another one that gets you in at 1 in the morning, or you can go to Long Beach, or you can fly to Las Vegas and then you can drive. I was like, this day will never end.
Y'all are crazy.
You guys are insane, but
I
I
think
have
that's
to.
what we're gonna
I
do.
have to get home. I have to get home because of this Mindy thing.
Yeah, I know.
So I run downstairs, use the bathroom real quick, and then I get the notice on my phone that it's like, you're boarding. I was like, great. I'm washing my hands. I look up. Boom. The left side of my nose just starts pouring blood.
Forgot about that.
Gushing blood.
Yep.
I'm like, my hand is covered in blood. It's dripping all over my face. It's in the sink. If you've ever had a nosebleed or something in the sink and there's water going, it just like, it looks like watercolors. It's
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had a nosebleed, but yes, I know what you're talking about.
I'm like, oh my God, what do I do? I'm trying to handle this. I'm like grabbing those rough paper towel things that you like put your hand under and then rip off.
Yeah.
I'm jamming those up my nose, and they are just getting, as I jam them up there, they are bleeding through. It is dripping down my face. I finally shove enough high up into my sinus cavity that it stops, and I look in the mirror, and I have this like Pocahontas style paint with all the color of the wind's hue of red across my face that's been watered down with water. And I was like, now I look like a lunatic. I have to go upstairs though. So I do my best to like wipe my face off. Oh my God. I get upstairs, and I've been talking to these people at the gate for a while. They know me, and they're like, what happened to you? I was like, I know, what a mess. I get on the plane. It is bled through again. I'm literally bleeding down my face as I enter this flight. And I was like, can I just hop in this bathroom here on the plane? And they're like, totally, take care of it. I jammed so many paper towels up my nose, and thankfully I have like a face mask, so I throw that on. But the whole hour and a half flight, I've got like way too many paper towels in my nose.
Yeah.
And it's like stretching my nose hole. But I can't take it out for fear of losing everything again.
I didn't say this to you, but I'm surprised they let you get on a flight.
Looking like that?
No, like bleeding with a nosebleed.
It was clear that it was a nosebleed, not like a stab wound.
Yeah, I know, but for some reason, I just feel like it wouldn't mix well with like the pressurization of the
Science.
plane and, like, all that. Yeah, I don't.
Well, they let me
I don't know.
on,
I'm not a
thank
scientist,
goodness.
so.
So I'm like, it is what it is. We're going to get up and we're going to get down in New Jersey, and then I'll have to figure it out.
We're gonna get down in New Jersey.
Maybe I'll figure out a way. Maybe I'll still make it. Spoiler alert, I don't.
They canceled his flight before he landed.
Before I landed, it was canceled.
I mean, the flight wasn't canceled. They canceled his
rebooked
ticket.
me. They're like, don't worry, your flight was at 10:30 this morning. It's 10:30 now. Don't freak out because we got you. We booked you on an 8:45 flight. So
PM.
yeah, so in like 10 hours, be ready. I was like, I'm going to die in Canada or New Jersey. I happened to be sitting next to a pilot on my flight for United, which is what I was flying at the time. And we're just chit-chatting, and I tell him the situation. He's like, whoa, let me pull up some flight options. And I was like, this dude's going to help me out. I didn't think he was going to be like, here's a ticket. But I was like, he's going to help me try to figure this out. And he did. And like he gave me some good options, and he started making me feel better. And I was like, what would you do? Like, would you talk to a gate agent, or like, what should I do? And he told me, he's like, yeah, go find somebody and like they can help you. And I was like, oh,
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I kissed the dude on the mouth.
As you should.
And then I got off the plane. He was a good dude, though. Shout out to my my pilot friend who was up in Canada watching hockey.
Did you get his name?
Did I get his name? I'm having his baby. It's great. No, I don't remember his name, but he was a good guy. Anyway.
Thank you, random pilot dude.
Thanks, random pilot dude. You're a lifesaver. So I get off the plane. I've missed my connection, so they've rebooked me on this terrible flight. I go upstairs. I find a nice-looking person, not like a beautiful person, although they were, but I mean like a person who looked nice.
Who looks kind.
Yeah, not someone who looked like they've been doing this for 50 years and, was like, you look new. I talked to this woman, Kim, and she saved my life. Like, truly.
Did you tell her your whole story?
I told her, not all this. I was like, you got to listen to the podcast if you want to know all this. But no, I told her my situation. I told her that I had to get back, blah, blah, blah. But I'm being nice and cute and playful and all that stuff.
All the things that you are.
All the things. But I'm turning it up. I'm trying to make it happen. And she goes, because at this point, I am looking at flights to Vegas in Long Beach. And I'm like, maybe my mom or your dad can pick me up in Long Beach to take me to LAX to get your car to come here.
At this point, I've already texted my dad.
Yeah, you're rocking it on your
and
side.
kind of been like, hey, you didn't ask me to. And I was like, he's going to give me pushback, but like, I'm going to solve the problem, be the hero.
You are the hero.
But I had asked my dad if he'd be willing to pick you up from Long Beach. And my dad was like, I'm working, but let me know what time. I'll see if I can make it happen. And my mom goes, if not him, my brother Ryan has a day off.
That's right.
But it sounded like my dad was going to make it happen. And they kind of knew what was going on.
You got good family. And I know my mom would have come too, and I think I actually ended up asking her at some point. Well, I'm almost to that point in the story anyway. So I'm talking to this lady, and she goes, I can get you she's like, I can get you there at 1:30. I was like, you can get me on a 1:30 flight? She's like, no, I can get you back to LA at 1:30. Like the flight's at 11:30. And I was like, you have no idea what that would mean for me. Yeah. She's like, she's like, there's one seat on this flight. That's what it was. There's one seat on this flight. Do you want it? I was like, do I want it?
Yes.
I will do anything for it. Yes, I want it. Thankfully, she didn't take advantage of that. But I would have been down like a clown. Tip me your
highest percentage.
Exactly. Not here too. New Jersey. She's like, you're booked. I was like, oh my God, it's going to happen. So I kissed her on the mouth too.
Perfect. You're also having her baby.
Yep. All the babies. Every man and woman was kissed. And
as they should.
That's right. I'm like, oh my God, I might just do this. And I'm not naive enough to believe that this flight isn't going to get canceled, but I am looking out the door, the windows.
Like, it doesn't look that bad.
I was like, it's a blue sky in New Jersey today.
Good for you.
Yeah, unlike your terrible trip.
It's okay.
I'm walking around trying to find some food. I find this
Subway. No, I'm just kidding.
I wish. I was begging for a Subway, but I do find a sandwich shop, and I do have a meatball sub. Thanks for asking.
Hey, you didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me that, so I'm glad you got it.
I did, and honestly, it was like the most delicious food I've ever had. You can imagine why. It was not great, but it was like the best in the world. And at this point, I call my mom, and I was like, hey, just wanted to let you know I'm in New Jersey, and here's what happens.
Oh, my gosh.
Here's what's been going on. Because I had texted her. I was like, I don't think I'm making it back tonight. But I didn't text her anything after I told her that the flight was canceled, and I was like, I'll let you know what happens. And then I got so caught up in everything that I didn't.
Sleep, yeah.
I never did. So I call her in Jersey, and she's just like so positive and so upbeat and empathetic, and telling me when stories like pieces of stories when stuff like this had happened to her. And I was like, I'm not ready yet. I can't yet. I'm too close to it. I'm living it. But
you're like, I'm living Kellie's and I'm living mine, Mom. I can't live your past.
Yes, 100%. And
but
she laughed
cute.
and she knew, but she was everything I needed in that moment. And this probably a similar way, like when you called your mom when you had the turbulence. Like I made it through that conversation with my mom, and I was like, I think there's a chance. There's a chance that I might make it home to record a 3-page audition, tear down a photo booth, and do a Hollywood celebrity event the next day without dying. Oh, and by the way, did I mention I'm getting a cold? Yes, I am. I did. I'm like on the backside of it now.
Yeah.
But I'm about to wrap up with my mom. I'm sitting here eating a meatball sub just next to some, TSA employee or something. And my mom just goes, all right, I want to let you go so you can get to your gate. I love you. Call me if you end up in Wyoming or Montana or something. And there was just something about the closure of that and everything that was happening that I couldn't even say words. I was like trying to say I love you and thank you and bye, and I couldn't. And I got it out, and I said, I'll talk to you soon. Bye. And when I say I started sobbing into my meatball sub in New Jersey airport, Newark, New Jersey.
It's like the crappiest airport ever, too, by the way. It's so bad. I hate the Newark airport. It's so crappy.
I'm just sobbing into this. I take the napkins and I just push them into my eyes. And for about a good 5 minutes, I'm just weeping into these like a lunatic, probably with blood still on my face.
Spread across.
It's
a good story. People are like, something happened to him. Look at that blood.
That dude. Yeah. There's only going up for that dude.
Yeah.
Because he can't go any lower. Well, things start to turn around a little bit. That flight does get delayed by about an hour, but I do get on it. And when I tell you, friends, I've never been happier to be in the middle seat in the back of an airplane for 6.5 hours from New Jersey to LAX. Man, that was my reality. I could not have been more grateful. As soon as we got up in the air, I was like, if I die here, I die here.
He was the only one clapping.
Yeah, no, truly, when we landed, I was like, does no one else feel compelled to clap? And no one else had the day that I did.
No.
Well, honestly, they probably did. But we make it down there. We make it home. It's like the smoothest landing. I get home in time. I meet a lovely person, a couple people on the plane, as usual. They're all great. I get to the car, or my bag comes out immediately. The car is exactly where you left it, even though I got to get from Terminal 7 to Terminal 2. It's right
that
there.
wasn't the plan, but hey, it's okay.
Yeah, we had to makeshift the plan. It's 5:30 in the evening. I'm a little bit dreading, like, oh God, I got to drive in all the traffic. Oh no, it's Monday, but it's President's Day, so people aren't working, so it's only an hour back home. I'm calling Kellie. I'm talking to her. I dropped off some stuff at my mom's, or I pick up some photo booth stuff at my mom's, so I get to see her, which is nice. And then I'm talking to Kellie, and somehow I get all the other stuff done.
You nailed it.
I got the audition done, which I didn't even tell you. Like, we don't have any actual tripods here right now because of the studio moves and all that stuff. So I literally took that like boom stand one and attached it to a chair.
Smart.
It was a lot. We get all the photo booth stuff done. The event with Mindy goes incredible. For those of you who are wondering, Mindy is an absolute gem of a person. She's so wonderful. She's so kind. She could not have been nicer. Also, forgive me for not remembering her name right now, but Angela from The Office was there. 10 out of 10 as well. Such a sweetheart. So kind. So wonderful. Truly everyone who was there. BJ Novak was great and fun. Everyone was so kind. Everybody loved the product. It was a huge success. We made it happen.
Your wifey set you up for success in that.
Kellie really did. And in the midst of it, she also made focaccia bread that I came home to and ate for the rest of the week as I retreated to try to regain some sanity.
And you had a therapy session.
I did have a therapy session, and I did get my crown permanently affixed, and like things started coming back around. But boy, oh boy,
everything's coming up roses.
It's all coming up McGillicuddy now.
McGillicuddy.
Kel, how was that story for you, and how's your face mask coming over there?
It's coming off.
She's been peeling it off the entirety of the story.
I was listening to everything you said.
She's looking just into her phone, peeling off little pieces like a lizard who's molting.
Yeah.
It's like all over your eyebrow.
I know. I can't really see it very well.
Oh, thank you for putting on that face mask, because as you started telling your story, I was like, oh boy, it's late at night. I got to fly tomorrow and be away from you for a few days before coming home, to be away from you for a few days before coming home for being away. And I was literally like, I don't know if this was a good idea.
It was.
And you made it worth it.
It was the best idea.
Because of your face mask.
I can't get it off my nose, though. The story was good for me. I mean, you and I have talked a lot, so obviously I know the story. You didn't tell me what the audience doesn't know, what you fine people don't know. So there was quite a bit that he kept from me until I got home.
Yeah.
Or until I got closer to the end of my journey, which was like filled with really long days. And I can't talk about it, but it wouldn't. It's not something I would have attended as an attendee.
Sure.
It was all good and all fine. But all that to say, there was quite a bit that he kept from me to just help me keep my mental health fine, because I was just having a tough time being out there.
Yeah.
After my experience, and I still had to fly home and fly out of this place that was supposed to truly get 14 inches of snow.
Yeah.
Which thank God it didn't. It only got like 2.
It is kind of like what you're saying, though. We were both trying to take care of each other.
Yeah. Yep. And I think we did it. But I got home and found out some misinformation. But
yeah, I don't think you knew about the Uber driver or the...
No, I did not know about the Uber driver. I would have been pissed out of my mind. The nosebleed, I didn't know either. And the Uber driver stuff, I was pretty mad. And what you guys don't know is SP did submit a report about...
Like a safety
report about this. And I was on East Coast time still, so I got the notification first, like early in the morning, that they had responded, and they were like, "Oh, we're so sorry for your situation.
We're take it very seriously.
Take it very seriously here at Uber. We're going to give you $5 Uber credit
in Canadian dollars too."
And I went, and so I responded.
Oh yeah, you
to this email for you.
Yeah.
Very professionally.
Yeah.
At this
Professional
point,
ham.
Now I knew what was going on because we had talked about it. I guess you told me before I got home, but you told me about it once you were home and once like the Mindy Kaling gig had gone or whatever.
I think what happened was, truly, I told you after therapy when I kind of started to realize the pieces of what I went through. Yeah.
Yeah. But I sent back a very professional, but not harsh, what's what I'm looking for? Like I stood my ground. Stern message that basically said like, this isn't about my safety concern. This is about safety concern of other people. And we're not from, because they were like, we'll make sure that you won't get paired with this person again. And I was like, no shit, Sherlock. Like we don't live in Montreal. What do you mean?
Yeah.
And so I kind of said that. I was like, yeah, like I may never get with him again because we don't live in Montreal, and who knows when we're going to go back there. But what about every other tourist that's ever come in contact with this person? And so they ended up reaching out, like calling you on the phone.
Yeah.
To talk about this incident. Because I said, I want to know, are you doing an internal investigation?
Right.
And what are you guys going to look into this driver? Because I'd like him to be terminated. Like he's an unsafe person that shouldn't be driving people around. So they did call you. They did end up refunding the entirety of your trip, which I just really hope they took the tip from him. They probably didn't, but it'd be the right thing to do. But at least you got your money back. And then didn't they say they would let you know what they were going to do an investigation, and they'd let you know?
I think so, but I doubt that they will. Turns out I'm one of many people who's had this experience.
With this guy?
No. Similar experiences all around the world with Uber and with taxis.
Yeah, but taxis aren't protected like Ubers are.
It should be even more regulated.
Ubers?
No.
Taxis?
I mean, all of them. But a lot of people have had similar experiences. The video I posted about this has, at least right now, like close to 600,000 views. And I think over 1,000 comments. And a lot of people...
This happened to me.
Yeah, but some people, and this is crazy, some people who are drivers, and they're saying, this is what we do to people. This is because Uber takes so much money. Like, if you're going to get in an Uber, know that this is probably going to, like, this is the business model. I was like, this is crime. Don't do it. And also,
that? Yeah. I'd be like, do you realize that scares people, though?
No, people are like, do you realize this is illegal? and they're like, "This is what we do." I was like, "Oh my god,
I would tag Uber at Uber. This is your driver.
bro!" There's 1,000 at Uber tags in that post right now.
know.
Uber official has responded to it.
Yeah. What did Uber official say?
I don't know. I don't remember.
No.
It was something like, "We're looking into this," or I don't know, something
Sure
like
you
that.
are. Sure you are. I mean, they
I
did.
figured by the time I got on the phone with Uber, like I didn't need to respond to their comment.
I would have.
You still can. It's your account too, bro.
I know. I will.
Oh.
Uber, what's the follow-up, buddy?
Anyway, that's the long and the short of it, and the long of it, and it was very
Listen.
long and terrible. And I'm stressing about everything now.
But here's what I will say.
Yeah.
Here's all the things that shed off my face.
Oh gosh.
It's my face mask. No, that's not what I was going to say. We did it.
Barely.
We made it through. We're back home. We had a glorious day at home yesterday where I was up for like 17 hours.
It's like you slept most of the day by the time you got here. I bet it was glorious.
Slept most of the day.
Yeah, you slept on the couch on and off most of the day.
But I wasn't asleep for like hours. I was asleep for maybe an hour. I didn't even know that I was falling asleep. Let's be clear.
That's what happens when people fall asleep, Kellie. You're asleep for hours.
Was
But
it really?
they don't know because they fall asleep. That's how sleeping works.
Shut up.
No one's like,
I would wake up though.
I'm asleep. Nailed it.
But I like fell asleep during when we were watching like Good Mythical Morning with Luke Bryant, and I only missed like one segment though. Like I didn't miss like the whole thing. It wasn't like you.
Yeah, but then you
rewatched that
slept
on
for
repeat.
90 minutes after that.
Yeah, so I slept
Then
for.
you fell asleep for. Oh, you fell on. You fell asleep for a while I was rubbing your feet.
Yeah, which was great.
Yeah.
More of that, please.
Yeah. Let's get out of here so we can do more of that.
But we made it through. That's what I was gonna say. I made it through. We had a great day together yesterday, just bonding. He was so sweet when he picked me up from the airport because he parked the car and got out of the car and met me at the exit of.
That sounds like the bare minimum if you don't know how much of LAX is like a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I mean it's a pain. You have to pay and all the things. You don't just pick up on the curb. But he got out of his car to come meet me before I went to baggage claim with a Starbucks.
Oh, what a guy.
What
I
a
just
guy.
missed you so much. I was like,
I know, I missed you so much too.
I was nervous and excited to see you. Like I don't think we've ever been apart for 10 days.
No, it was a really long time.
Which is like, I hear how pathetic it is, everybody.
We don't care.
We don't care.
We don't. But
Let's never do that again.
I was just trying to walk.
That's why we got married, because we don't want to be apart.
I know. I was trying to walk as quick as I could through the airport. You know, when you're walking so fast that your knees are like, hold up.
Yeah. Hold up, old person.
They can't bend this fast.
You're hyperextending me.
Yeah, I had to pee, so I peed, and then I like was trying to find the exit, and I exited the doors, and I was like, that person looks familiar. That's my husband.
And he's got a coffee.
And he took my backpack right away, which was heavy as hell.
Yeah, I got you.
But it was such a nice thing because I was like, I listen. I can be very independent.
Yeah.
I really can. I used to travel for work a lot too. I guess not a lot, but I used to travel for work quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I had to figure things out. Like I can do stuff and I'm totally fine. But by that point, the event that I did required a lot of talking. And a lot of, I keep saying like towing the line. Like a lot of,
Do you mean like small talk kind of stuff?
No, I mean like a lot of trying to be chummy with people that I didn't necessarily like or get along with. Not people I was working with necessarily, but like I was talent wrangling. So
It was a lot of big egos.
yeah, it was a lot of that. And so I had told you, I was already feeling like every day at the end of the day, I took a bath for like an hour, which was like such a nice thing for my feet and for my body, which was sore. But it was also like the only opportunity I had to be by myself in my own thoughts, like not thinking about what I was doing, not trying to talk to somebody, not trying to get information.
Yeah.
And it was the first time in my life, which I think I said to you, I was like, talking to you isn't a burden. That's not what this is.
Right, yeah.
But I'm just tired.
Yeah, and you needed some solo time.
Yeah.
Where you weren't entertaining or engaging with anyone but
And
yourself.
I've never felt that way about you and I before, like about talking. Normally I'm like, yeah, we can talk about anything. It's totally fine. It was the first time in my life that I was like, hey, I love you. You know this too, because I said, hey, I love you. I think I just want to eat dinner and watch TV on my own if that's okay. And you're like, yeah, I'm just here for you, whatever you want. I'm like, thanks, babe. And I would feel guilty about it. But I was like, I can't keep talking. Like, I'm so tired of talking. And sleeping, I'm not getting enough sleep. I'm only getting like 5 or 6 hours of
Oh
sleep
my
at this
God,
point
yeah.
because I'm still on West Coast time. And so even if I'm getting into bed at 10, which was happening at some of the days, I still wasn't actually falling asleep until like 12:30. And then I was waking up at, I don't know, 5:30, sometimes 4:30 to
Yeah,
get up and do the job.
terrible.
Like I was really having a difficult time. I was
Yeah.
like, I love you. I just can't talk to you.
Yeah, and I'm the guy who's like, sometimes I forget we're not the same person. And you're the girl who's like, sometimes I just need a break.
Yeah, but that's not true all the time. And you know
It's
that.
rarely ever true.
Yeah, and
But it totally
normally,
makes sense for
I'm
this
like,
week.
yes, let's hang out. And you were even like, you can, if you can't sleep, which was so sweet. If you can't sleep, you can just call me and like, I can just be on the phone while you sleep. And I was like, no.
That sounds terrible, babe. That's what you
I
said.
slept with nothing. All I had was
know.
ocean sounds.
I did that last night. Did you know that? I turned everything off.
It was great. Isn't it glorious? I was asleep.
hated
Let's
it.
be clear.
Yeah,
I was
you
asleep.
were out. I can't believe you're awake right now.
There,
I gotta get you to
I know,
bed.
I'm so tired. Yeah, there was no opportunity or no chance, no shot that I was going to be chance. No chance. We got into bed and I was like, this is not.
Yeah,
I was
you were
so
out so
tired.
fast.
I'd been up for like 16 and a half hours.
I know, it was brutal, except for those 8
Except for
hours you
those-
slept in the middle.
I didn't sleep for 8 hours in the middle. I got up at 3:20 East Coast time, which would be 12:20.
God, you're slowly becoming me.
I know. But I'm only saying this to give perspective, is that I
Yeah.
basically woke up at 12:20 a.m.
Yeah.
and then I went to bed
At 10.
at 10
Yeah.
for reasons that weren't our fault. I had to have a phone call last night. It's fine.
Never stops.
A parent meeting. But that's almost 24 hours.
Girl, you earned it.
And I was like, but I was so tired. I don't remember what happened, but I do remember getting in bed and kind of snugging you, like getting, my leg on top of your leg, my hand up by your shoulder, and then my like head there too. And then I think I flipped over and was like, I don't even know that I flipped over. I just know that I was asleep.
Do you think people find it interesting to hear how we fell asleep?
Yeah. Because someone out there is going to be like, girl, yeah,
Yep, that's
how I fall
asleep.
asleep too.
Uh-huh.
But I think I woke up maybe at 12:30 and flipped over. I went,
Yeah.
and I flipped over.
It's good
That's how you
times.
know that I wake up like I'm scared, like something.
When you're gasping for oxygen like you were just in the ocean.
Because I don't do it.
We still good? We still good?
I don't do it very often, but I do it when I feel like I'm behind on something.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm still good. Flip over.
Good.
Okay, cool.
Good night. Yep. Well.
And with that, it's time to get into bed
Mm-hmm.
because this is a home show filmed at nighttime,
That's right.
late night.
Thanks for listening and just letting us vent about a very challenging week.
And I'm so sorry if it spiked anybody else's anxiety.
I
hope
guess
you know.
there's no way it couldn't, huh?
Yeah, but I hope you know that the best moral of the story,
Tell me the best one.
the moral of the story, shut up, I'm so tired, is that no matter what life throws at you or how hard life gets, you're going to be okay.
Unless life throws a bus at you hard and you'll die.
Yeah, but you're still going to be okay.
Yeah, you'll be dead, but
Yeah.
you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes dead is
But
better.
I'm trying to give the best moral
yeah.
of the
Give me the
story, and
best
you
one.
gave not a good one. Unless you get hit by a bus. What is that?
Hey, I'm here to tell truth.
But I'm here to say it. Life can get really difficult sometimes and really hard.
yes,
But it's good to
seriously.
remember that at the end of the day or the
Hardly
next
working.
day, everything is going to be okay. And as long as you have your person.
That's not true.
That's not true. I laughed because I was like, it's true for me. As long as I have
Yeah.
a person. But you can make it through anything. You can do anything. You can do hard things. And I'm not a preacher. I'm not a pastor. You can do hard things.
You want me to try?
Anything is possible. No. But you can get through hard things, and you can do the things that feel tough and difficult. And it's okay to be emotional, and it's okay to cry it out. But at the end of the day, remember that you're going to be okay. You're going to make it through,
Because
and it's
you
going to be
always
better
do.
on the other side because you always do.
Yeah.
It always does. And what will be. And what's for you is for you. And what was for me was coming home and falling asleep on the couch intermittently
Like fasting.
and then falling
Just
asleep.
intermittent nap sting.
Falling asleep in my bed with my husband, snuggled up, 71 degrees, 70 degrees in our house,
Yeah, you
watching
took it down.
Ancient Aliens.
Boy, oh boy, that's a lot about our life.
You're welcome, everybody. That's our sleep show. Sometimes.
Sometimes. Yeah.
Sometimes other stuff, but
Well, I couldn't have said it better or longer myself.
Shut up. People, our stories were extra long, so this needed to be a little bit longer than
Yeah, we had to
Give some
land
hope
the
at the
plane.
which
It was
we
a bumpy
barely
ride,
did.
but with a lot of personality.
Nobody threw up though this
That's
time.
right, not yet.
Maybe you did.
We'll
Tell
see
me
what
later.
the night holds. Boy, oh boy, we sure do love and appreciate y'all, and I hope that you get something out of listening to us. And I hope you learned something. Don't travel Air Canada. That's my best moral of the story ever.
And know that Delta always gets you there.
Boy, oh boy, they're great. And you know what? Shout out to United too, has really pulled through for me lately.
We're
You're
not a
homie.
United family, but
No, we're a
good.
house divided.
we're a Delta family.
We're co-parenting.
House of Dragons.
Okay, we gotta
It's fine.
go. We love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful week. We'll be back with another episode next week. Of course, all the socials, you know it, at It's Hardly Working, Instagram and TikTok.
Tell us your horrible plane stories.
Or don't, actually. Maybe don't.
Address it to Kelly
Yeah.
so that I'll read it and you won't.
Attention, Kelly, because I'm still stressed and I'm going to be flying a lot this week. Too many times. But
Let us know if you've ever seen, is it a pilgrim on the plane, wing of the plane, churning butter?
Pilgrim? What?
From Bridesmaids.
Oh, I thought you were describing
There's a
Twilight
lady
Zone.
on the wing of the plane who's churning butter. Something like that. Anyway.
That's so funny. We'll be back next week with the first official episode, audio and video from the new studio. That's right.
We have a guest joining us here
in
soon.
a couple weeks. Excited for that. It's going to be a good few weeks here. It's going to be a busy few weeks. As I mentioned, I'm flying a lot. And then once I'm done flying a lot, I pick up Kelly and we fly a lot.
But at least it's together.
Honestly, makes
So
a
if we
big
go
difference.
down, we go down together.
That's right.
We
Gosh.
go
We're
down.
not going down. No more of that talk.
We're going to land in Salt Lake because Salt Lake is close.
Together.
It's fine.
Anyway, it's going to be a crazy couple weeks, but we're going to be hanging with you, and I hope you'll hang with us for these weeks too. We're going to get through it together.
Thanks
It's just
for
like,
Thanks for listening to that really long landing the plane.
yeah, just like Kelly said, you got through it. We'll get through it together because we always do. We love you. We appreciate you. And we hope that you have a wonderful week where you spend most of your time
Hardly working.
Love you.
Mean it.
Bye.